These people are confused. Just needs to love God stronger. Do I love God more? Do I love me more? Call it the street Jesus.
Live from the Pathway Studios in Johnston proper. You are live from the path.
And you're listening to Live from the Path. We're coming from the Pathway Studios here in Johnston proper.
You're darn right we are. Why isn't anybody as excited as me?
You seem very excited to affirm that we are indeed.
Yeah. We're here. Here's what we got going on the show. In order not to waste the introductory time, poorly. We did not prepare very well for the show. Mike has some advice on Dear Life from the Past. Here's where we're gonna start. We're gonna start with what I know for sure, what I'm confident in. Mike's got advice on Dear Life from the Past.
There's a husband that's seems to be a bit of a party pooper, and here's how to rightfully approach a blind man in public.
Oh yeah, that's
What?
rough.
Yeah, it looks more like a soapbox piece than it does a question, but yeah, we'll get into it.
Oh man, there was a. Now I don't remember what chapter it was. Maybe it's Leviticus chapter. I want to say 19 or 20, but like. It's funny because it had been going on about how to treat other people within the community. And then there's like this chapter is basically a chapter of, hey, those things that you think you can mistreat other people, God sees all of it. Because he's like, hey, don't put a box in the way of the blind man. Or like, you can't mistreat your, like if you can't withhold wages from people and you can't mistreat your neighbor. They're all things where like, as a human, you might be able to get away with it because you were in some sort of stronger position than somebody else. And then there's like a constant reminder following each of these things that like, I'm the Lord your God, and basically I saw it.
Actually,
I saw that thing you did to the blind guy.
I almost text somebody here this week because I was reading Leviticus like almost the same thing. Like every time Yahweh says something, he says, "I am the Lord your God." Like he's almost like he's signing like placards. You know what I'm saying? Like he writes something down.
Here's my card.
Yeah, like incidentally, if you're going to be a priest, you cannot marry someone, whoever. Or you can't leave the sanctuary to go find a woman. Love Yahweh. And then he'll send it out. And he says, if you're going to bring some kind of sacrifice in here, don't bring one in here with one leg longer than the other. Love Yahweh. You know what I'm saying? Like, he always says, I am the Lord your God. You know, and that's his statement. And it just feels like he's signing the end of it. Like, just so you know, I wrote this in my own hand. Love Yahweh. Shipping it out. Go deal with what I've just said.
This isn't Moses. This is God.
All right, so anyway, we're going to do advice on Dear Life from the Path. There was a guy who released, or has been releasing, like a fresh Hebrew Bible translation.
I was sure you were going to say releasing balloons.
No, that didn't make
This is even better.
That didn't make the New York Times.
I'm releasing Hebrew balloons.
I'm confident that the thing you're saying is happening. It's not
I was
getting
in a
the
whole
coverage.
different place.
Anyway, I thought it was interesting, and I'll talk about it just real briefly. But like, we'll get into kind of a reminder of some of the nuances of Bible translation and why like it's totally okay to be reading multiple translations and recognizing that like even now there's fellows like who love Jesus who are still working on it. Like they're still trying to make sure that they understand some of the nuances. And like one of the big changes that you'll notice here is that like people were trying to faithfully render the text without the context of not the story around it, but the style of which it is written. Like Hebrew poetry specifically is pretty difficult to deal with. Like there's some translations. They give an example here in Song of Solomon. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Because where's it? Oh yeah. So the Jewish Publication Society renders a Song of Songs, chapter 1, verse 13. My beloved to me is a bag of myrrh lodged between my breasts. And so,
Yep,
but the thing is that like if you think about if you're writing poetry, like the phrase "lodged between my breasts" just doesn't quite give the sense of probably what they're trying to get after.
Huh.
It may be a rightful like it's not that word isn't used in that way, but like it certainly isn't the image that the poetry is trying to get at, even if it's a faithful translation of the word.
Yeah, because lodged usually means inadvertently stuck. Like it's
Yeah.
there, and I didn't mean it to be there, and it's stuck in there now.
You talk about it as like I ate an apple and there's a skin of it lodged between my teeth.
Yeah.
I don't think the bag of myrrh that I describe my lover as being like stuck between the breasts.
Yeah.
I watched The Breakfast Club the other day. It just happened to be on. I haven't seen it for 30 years or whatever, and I didn't remember this scene, but was it Molly Ringwald?
Ringwald, yeah.
She lodged some lipstick between her breasts and did her lips.
Oh,
I've not seen The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, I mean it's okay to not see it. I just like everybody talks about how great it is. I'm sorry to change the subject. That's the image I got from
No, as
Song
long
of
as we're
Solomon
talking
there.
about breast, Dan, go ahead.
There was something lodged between breasts.
yeah. So even take the image, right? Something
That was not poetic.
That's right. Something stuck there, and you're like, it just probably isn't what they're getting at. And so anyway, that's what the guy. We'll talk about it just a little bit.
Hey, you got something lodged.
Yeah.
I mean, oh well, yes, that's my lover.
Sir, I believe that her is stuck.
Come out of there.
What are you doing there?
I told you we're not going to do this.
I had a chance to study Hebrew, and I had no desire. I mean, you got to make up all the vowels yourself. They have no vowels. It's just all one big long line. It's just like no.
Yeah.
Actually, I was just thinking about this earlier this week when I was talking to my dad, and he was talking about how we were talking about how technology is affecting kids or whatever, and
Oh, yeah.
and I was telling him, like, it's especially when you're running like youth group, it's hard because kids don't take in things. They don't, poetry definitely not, but even paragraphs, even full sentences, right? Like they text in short bits. They get even Twitter and Facebook posts are just quick bam ideas. There's no depth to any
They
of
can't
it.
even say the word. They got to use a symbol.
Yeah, exactly. And so like and look at a text message from most teenagers I know anymore. Like they're all BRB or there's no vowels in there anywhere. And I thought we're getting back to Hebrew, right?
Hey.
Like we're basically shoving a bunch of consonants together with no punctuation.
Maybe we didn't know they were texting. It is the
Holy
text.
cats.
Yep, the Hebrew is
Hey,
the long form text.
We just like Dan was saying with Noah.
yeah,
It was the future.
Noah's days of the
They
future
were
past.
advanced.
Yeah, it's
Babel
coming.
came.
We just
It's coming full
unlocked
circle.
cuneiform, that it was actually the most basic form of texting, and those are actually just olden like Mesopotamian emojis.
It's the truth, really, because Adam, he was writing out full sentences, capitalization, the whole works. And about 1,000 years later, the rest of Israel goes, "This is dumb. Let's get rid of these consonants. They're taking up all kinds of room. We're just going to stop punctuating and just zip it on through, much like our teenagers are doing."
Well,
and
when you're chiseling in the rock, it does take extra time.
exactly. But just to do
Doing it in
another O,
shorthand in
like
the cave.
who wrote the word book in here? I don't want to put these two O's in here.
They'll get it.
Yeah. Just watch out. The new teenager thing is Hebrew. It's coming out.
That's right. It's coming
That's
around.
why I love it. Like when I studied Greek, I mean, you might have 3 like really super intelligent Greek translator people, and each one will say the same word differently. It's a dead language. We don't know.
Right.
So they're like, well, this is how you say it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, eh. And then the other guys, no, you say it this way. And yeah, so
I'm not impressed
that
with your
frustrates
arguments.
me.
Yeah.
I like to be precise.
What if the rice alternative is really koinoi or what's it?
Yeah.
Not quinoa.
Yeah, quinoa.
Quinoa.
What's the Greek called? What's the
Koine.
street Greek? Koine.
Koine, yeah.
Koine Greek. See, we could have been eating koine as a side dish our whole life, and you
Have a
wouldn't
slice
actually
of
know.
quinine, please.
All right. Anyway, that's. I think that's the only thing I had on the docket.
Lodge
Really.
between my
If you like
lips.
to text Hebrew, get a hold of the complaint line. At
Oh man. 517-0085,
I didn't write that
517-0085. It's time to exasperate your nefesh on the complaint line, and we'd love to hear from you. But Bubba, you were contemplating Pope style.
Oh man, yeah. I don't want to prematurely drop it.
It's kind of at bishop level now.
I mean, now here's the deal, Bubba.
It's never really that good though. So
you're a rambler, and so if you don't have this thing landed down, maybe you put the anchor on it and hit it up next week.
I was gonna say, yeah. If I don't have this thing hammered down, it's gonna take us 40 minutes to do.
Oh, good. Okay, good. My New Year's resolution was to tell you the truth.
I appreciate that. More people need to do that.
No, see, I've been told the opposite.
No, Mike. Actually, it took me a long time to get to this point, but I appreciate when you tell me the truth.
Yes. Okay, here's the
Like
deal,
I-
fellas.
thanks for that open door.
Mike's like, New Year's resolution is gone.
Let me get out my scroll I wrote
yeah,
in
let's,
Hebrew.
let's hear it, Mike. What do you got? I want to hear some truth from you real quick.
Actually, I was just about to admit that I had gone on to Florida here this last week or whatever with my wife for our vacation or whatever, and like you could not have found me making more cheesy Jesus comparisons while I was on the beach It was super weird. Like I was standing like right by the water, and like if you stand just on the beach and just as the water goes up and put your foot down, your foot will slowly start to sink, you know. And then when you pull your foot out, I sat there and watched it, and it didn't take but one wave to come back up. All the sand would fill in the hole, and the hole was never there. And I thought, this is a fantastic metaphor for sin and the love of Jesus Christ. And I thought, yes, I'm going to remember this because this is genius of me. And then, and then I started looking at the Gulf of Mexico, and I'm like, man, what a powerful. Look at these waves. They're so powerful. They could take me down, but they don't. They just come up and gently kiss my feet. That's like the love of Jesus. And I had.
Did you write any worship songs while you were sitting
No,
there?
no. It was the cheesiest like hippie worship band thing I've ever done. I'm just sitting there thinking about how this beach reminds me of the greatness of Jesus Christ, and no one was around to listen to me talk about it. So I thought I got to wait for the radio show. But then once I admit that I sat around drinking the hippie juice over by to Florida, then my persona of yelling at people and being brutally honest will be gone completely, and so I shouldn't bring it up at all.
I was too late. The cat's out of the bag.
Shucks. At least the wave will wash over my sin
I
one more
can't
time.
wait to hear the worship songs that come from that revelation.
I started keeping so things like that occur to me, and I started keeping them in my Evernote. And like I was looking through my Evernote collection the other day, and like I've got notes about like, hey, you should mention this at this guy's funeral. I'm like, this is really premature. But at some point, somebody said something, and I thought, hey, that'd be a good anecdote for their funeral, which I think implies that I'm going to outlive everybody. I'm going to have to bequeath my notes to
I was
someone.
going to say, if not, we're going to have to find your notes and then pass them on to a writer or something like that.
If I should die early, here's some sweet things
Here's
to say
some
at
sweet
Ted's
things
funeral.
to say at all of these funerals.
You know, I every time I go, I have lists like that too, and I will go back and at the time I think this is genius. This is outstanding. You know, and you go back and read it, and you go, oh, what? What? I mean, what?
I have literally thought that about every episode of the show. I thought that was solid gold, and then I will go listen to it a week later and go, oh, man.
You know, my notes aren't exactly great. Like I have things like I don't even know what half these are. One of them says book for Timmy. And I'm not certain I know who Timmy
God bless
is.
us, everyone.
But then I have one that says Magnum D21 83 2018 99 1466. I don't know what that is, but I kind of wish I would have put another note alongside it that says, hey, by the way, this is what this is.
Testosterone builder.
And then I'm a nerd and I have poetry that I wrote for Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh.
Oh yeah, gentlemen, I am that big of a nerd and I'm proud of it.
Let me have a few lines.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. No.
Bova, come on. Let me just 2 lines.
I got my honesty gun ready. Go
Okay,
ahead.
all right. Oh man, I can't believe I'm subjecting myself to this. Okay, so I bring you a tale that is older than time and of the dragon's battle fought. This tale needs no reason or rhyme, but to make pretty, I suppose I ought. Yeah. Right? Like, this is lame. Okay, so the dragons flew with grace and might and bellowed with a hearty roar. They ruled all the day and night. Oh, how the dragons did soar. Yes, I am fully aware that I'm a nerd, and that sucks.
This makes me so happy.
You want to keep reading so you guys can have a great time?
No, hold on a minute. How recently did you write that?
Oh, that was probably a year ago.
Oh, man, I was really hoping you were going to say like 12 years ago.
No, this is terrible. So, no, I'm not going to get into Dungeons and Dragons on the show. I apologize. But like, this is what I have. I played a bard, and like part of my guy's character was like I wrote songs, and they were all lame, and so I had to write stuff.
How did they make it to your Evernote, though?
What do you mean, like this is just my notes on my phone?
Right, so like you were so you wrote these at the time?
Yeah, I wrote these like I was sitting there, and I knew what was about to happen, so I had to write something really quick and then use it.
Okay.
So like I didn't like sit down one day and go, I'm gonna write a book of dragon poetry.
Actually, that's how I perfectly envisioned it.
You thought like
Big.
it was windy out one day, and I thought to myself, oh, on stormy days I love writing.
Yep.
So I put on a candle and I opened my window, and
You
this
took
just
to a
flowed out
park
of me.
bench and then reminisced on your time.
That would be
with
so
Dungeons
much
and
better.
Dragons.
No, I like when I'm sitting there playing with my friends and I have to come up with something. I would pull out my notepad and write it real quick while we were on a break. And then 10 minutes later, I'd have to read it because that was my character's deal. I had to like make songs on the spot.
I feel like I'm wasting my life because I spend my free time thinking, am I a good father? Or how can I do a better job at
Hey,
my
man,
work?
I never once said a year ago I was making
Or
good life
maybe I
choices.
should build a garage.
I also have a list of all the 50 states that I tried to write down in less than 6 minutes from memory because they did it on the show Friends that I was watching with my fiance.
Okay, here's the deal. Over this next week, it's you're going to call the complaint line.
Yes, you are.
515-517-0085. And here's what I'd like to hear. I'd like to hear the most embarrassing thing in your notes. In your whether it's an Evernote or notes on your phone and stuff. I'll participate. I'll go through mine, and I'll find the most embarrassing thing within my Evernote collection, and I will call the complaint line, and I will leave it.
What happens if you can beat Dungeons and Dragons dragon poetry?
You get a signed picture of Buva.
Deal.
Yeah.
We'll get a picture of Buva. I'll print it out. I will have him sign it, and I will ship it to you.
Deal.
So that's the complaint line.
I will pay for the shipping.
517-0085.
$10 right now that whoever has the more embarrassing thing than Buva is either related to Buva or knows him personally. That's my wager.
Interesting.
Okay.
This is
We'll cut
slightly
this
unfair.
segment. I'll share it on my Facebook. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Because I write my I don't keep notes on my phone. I write them on my hand, and then they go away.
Once
Mike,
a week,
that is very ineffective.
the slate
You have to
cleans.
wash your hands constantly. You
I
work
don't-
on things.
I don't keep notes around for like I don't keep anything for posterity at all. Zero things.
I write stuff on random.
I have my wedding colors, just so I don't forget them.
Yeah. Are they the colors of the Dungeons and Dragons?
No,
Red and black.
Dusty rose and fern green.
Yeah.
My fiance made sure I wrote them down the day that she decided them because she was like, "These are our wedding colors." I'm like, "Great, I'm gonna never remember them."
I'm glad you-
Right. Super excited to be one of the guys standing up there.
Okay. 515-517-0085. I want the most embarrassing thing in your note backlog. Or clean them out, except for Mike, apparently, who doesn't keep notes.
I wash my hands, and then my note is gone.
My hands are clean of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to say that I'm impressed. Mike was in Florida a couple weeks ago, walking along the beach thinking of God. I as well was in Florida a couple weeks ago for a wedding.
Yeah.
And all I can remember was inappropriately dressed people. I don't know.
Dan,
what that says.
I appreciate that honesty in 2019.
I mean, I was just like, I don't know how those things are staying in because, well, wait, they're not.
They're lodged in there.
Oh, man.
You know you're in public, right?
Those are lodged like a bag of mirth.
Actually, I was lucky enough to be vacationing in what is majority of a retirement community.
Yeah, buddy. Mike made a good, solid choice for where he was going.
And so everything was fine. Plus, it was only like
Dan went to Daytona
60.
Beach or something.
Well, Fort Myers Beach.
It's all beaches to me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wet and
actually,
fluffy.
we stayed at an Airbnb or whatever, and they had a whole house stereo system, like where you
What?
Bluetooth your phone,
Oh, fun.
and then in every room is like a thing you can turn on, and there's speakers in every room. It was the coolest thing.
Things I should never have.
I couldn't have enjoyed my morning Bible study any better. Like I fired up the Red Collective station, and then I read Leviticus. This is what I did.
Walked around.
I had nowhere to be, and so I sat there and I could read it and I could write down some stuff and I could do my
On your hand?
Yeah, I wrote it on my hand.
I was going to say, yeah, you wrote your notes on your
Leviticus
hands.
21.
Yeah, it looked like do not marry a woman outside of priesthood. Love Yahweh. And I keep looking at my hand, going noted. Yeah, it was actually really cool, and it's the thing that I realized the most that I liked the most about it because we didn't flat out didn't do anything, right? Like it was just a vacation for
That
my
sounds
wife and I.
amazing.
We didn't plan nothing. And so it was awesome. The thing that I lament most about my current life is time. It's always time. It's not an experience that I'm missing out on or going hiking or bungee jumping or whatever. Like the thing that brings me peace and calm and low stress and low anxiety is just time to do the things I want to do and do them right. And so it was a weird thing to take away from a vacation, but that's definitely what I got from it.
Cool.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ben, this guy's doing the Hebrew
Oh,
Bible,
yeah,
the
yeah.
new Hebrew Bible.
All right, hold on. Let me get back to what I was doing. Got distracted. Yeah, so there's a guy who says after more than 2 decades of work, a new Hebrew Bible to rival the King James.
Just a quick, aside. Is that the picture of the guy right there?
Yeah, that's
He
him.
looks like a woman.
I mean, he has.
Rude.
Yeah.
He has piercing.
I don't know why I
aqua green
looked up at
eyes.
our monitor and it's the four of us, so I was wondering which one of us looks like a woman.
Okay, no, hold on. I could. You want me to find the picture?
Wait, but it's a Hebrew Bible. So it's like it's not Hebrew. It's what is it?
Well, it's not a coffee shop, Dan. What are you asking?
Wait, I don't mean that. Yeah.
How
You
does
just
Moses
said the
make
word
his
Hebrew
coffee?
and put the emphasis
Hebrews
on the
it.
front.
Whoa, whoa,
It's
whoa,
not
whoa.
the Hebrew language.
yeah.
What are you asking, Dan?
I don't
It's a
get it.
translation. Obviously, it's
So it Well, okay,
Well, yeah.
I kind of guess what you're.
I guess
think
what it? It's not a Hebrew.
Well, if it's originally in Hebrew,
No,
it's
yeah,
not
it's a translation of the original of the Hebrew
into what?
into English.
Okay.
But what does that have to do with King James?
So I think he's the
That's what threw
comparison.
me off.
Yeah, the comparison
good.
is okay. Hold on, where's this guy?
Better than the KJV.
What? This one doesn't have the
Okay.
picture of him. What the heck?
Yeah. That was.
Yeah, it doesn't render it right. That's too bad.
Man, I put effort into it.
Maximum effort.
Anyway, so the comparison is because the people lament the King. What's missing from modern translations, what the King James tends to get. There's a lot of the things that the King James doesn't get right, but their use of language oftentimes is closer, especially when it comes to like the like to some of the narrative forms or the poetry forms. Like they've taken more care in trying to craft language that fits the form of the communication thing. And so I think that's what they're kind of getting at. And so, okay, well, here we go. Okay, hold on. I got it. I got a picture of him.
Yeah, you got
It's coming.
I got to see this.
It's coming.
it's Roberta, the lady.
Oh.
See, it could go either way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's definitely a
these are
woman.
weird. Okay.
Hebrew.
I'm sorry.
It's Robert Alter. Bob. His name is Bob.
Pat.
It's not.
It's the weird.
Yeah, Jessica. Okay, moving on. He seems to be a top end Bible
Sorry,
scholar.
Pat.
Anyway.
I was gonna say, yeah.
What did she say?
Anyway, he spent some time, complete translation and commentary of the Hebrew Bible from Genesis to Chronicles. Says it's more than 3,000 pages, published this month. It represents a culmination of nearly 2.5 decades of work. So here's an example, Mike, and so you recognize this. He said, Alter told me about his decision to reject one of the oldest traditions in English translation and remove the word soul from the text. That word, which translates the Hebrew word nephesh, has been a favorite in English language Bibles since the 1611 King James Version. But consider the book of Jonah 2:6, in which Jonah, caught in the depths of a giant fish's gut, sings about the terror of near death by water. According to the King James Version, Jonah says that the Mediterranean waters compassed me about even to the soul, or to nephesh. But the problem with this soul for Alter is its Christian connotations of an incorporeal and immortal being, the dualism of the soul apart from the body. Nephesh, to the contrary, suggests the material mortal parts, the things that make us alive on this earth, the body. Well, Alter said, speaking in an unrushed, amused tone of a veteran footnoter, that Hebrew word nephesh can mean many things. It can mean breath or life breath. It can mean throat or neck or gullet. Sometimes it can suggest blood. It can mean person or even a dead person, corpse. Or it can be appetite or something more general, life or even the essential self. But it's not quite soul. So I asked, doesn't soul help dramatize the scene's intense emotion? I mentioned another instance of the word nephesh, the terrifyingly evocative line from King James translation of Psalm 69, for the waters are come in unto my soul. Oh yes, Alter said with a smile. That one does have a certain emotional resonance to it, but it's not what the poet had in mind. And I would add that the line, for the waters have come up to my neck, is also rather dramatic. The guy says, later I looked up the Jonah verse and saw that Alter's translation was true to the poem's formal structure. The verse starts with Jonah's declaring that the water had reached his nephesh, his neck, as Alter had it, and ends with his exclaiming that his head had been covered with seaweed. Biblical poetry is often made up of line pairings composed of analogous images, and Alter had chosen an anatomical noun neck that logically matched head in the parallel clause. You don't need to know Hebrew etymology to see that soul doesn't fit the analogy. The poetic structure dictates its own logic. So, anyway, that was an interesting example, and I thought what it pointed to was that it is certainly an art. There's an art to the translation where we can read soul and we recognize the drama behind it. It's probably true that if you're looking at poetry specifically, in fact, Hebrew poetry and even biblical poetry in general, it tends to be written real specifically, and like we're more casual about it. Like we'll just throw lines on a page, Dungeon and Dragon style, and say, "Look, I wrote a poem."
You know that hurt. I'm gonna read more of that poetry.
I'm gonna
I was kidding.
I'm gonna
Keep going.
cease to listen.
I'm going to have more jokes about it.
Do not torture my nephesh. But it's right. So like in that specific example, and here's what the heck do I know? I don't know Hebrew, so we'll start there. But like in general, does it make sense that the pairings are probably neck and head as opposed to soul and head in that instance? Yeah, that probably does make sense. And so what he was after, the reason he's done this is to try to capture some of the to try to be, at least from his perspective, true to some of the communication styles of Hebrew poetry, which don't always lend themselves to direct, like it's not word for word. Even when we talk about word for word translations, like there's still an art to that, because you're trying to take, there's a context that is not only like, how does this author speak, and then what is the context of the story that they're in, what is the direct context of which it's being used, and then what is the communication style of which it's being used in. There's a difference between, say, poetry and the 10 words, right? Like if he's provided, there are 10 commandments. And so, anyway, I thought it was just kind of interesting, and it made me. It was weird when I started down. And Dan, you would recognize this. Like, so I didn't have any formal education in Bible languages, and so at the point of which I started learning about some of the things that were around translation, it scared me a little bit. It made me think that, like, I'm going to not trust this anymore, because I'm going to think, well, there's humans in this translation process.
Right.
And the truth was, it actually did quite the opposite, because it centered around, like, here's the language, here's the true thing, the thing that we know, and frankly, it's well retained. The Koine, the New Testament's well retained, even the Old Testament is well retained. And then you have people struggling to understand the translation of those things. That sometimes shifts maybe how we've used some of the language before, and frankly, it improves upon it, helps us to know more holistically. And like, I think we should. I love that. I love the thought that we continue to have the ability, and we're continuing to work towards understanding God's word. And it's not crazy to think that pursuit will continue, and we'll get better and better at it. And I thought it would hinder me, and actually I came to trust it more, because then I know, hey, why are there so many translations? Oh, I get it. They're trying to figure out Nefesh that could have 10 different things in it. What makes sense here? And some people who love Jesus are trying to give it a shot.
You know, it was really fascinating when I was in Cincinnati Bible College. One of my professors there was on the committee that wrote the NIV, and every once in a while he would throw out these stories of, you know, I can't remember, whatever it is, 77 people, I can't remember, there's a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they would sit there and discuss one word, you know, and it might go on however long, talking about what word they're going to use.
Yep.
In the NIV. And depending on your theological background, that would determine what word you wanted, because like you said, it could be heck, it could be wrath, it could, you know, whatever.
Yep.
And that became in some interesting conversations that I wish I could be a fly on the wall for those to see, like, how did they ultimately decide that word? You know, was there some politics involved? Or,
Yep.
You know, that type of thing.
Is Bill really mad because he wasn't buying it ever, and he's like,
Exactly.
I'm not voting for this.
They're Calvinists. That's why they went this direction, you know, and it was just fascinating. But it did also, because there was that large group, gave me more of a comfort of saying, okay, I mean, it isn't just one dude saying, yeah, this is what I think. And,
Right.
You know, 'cause well,
Except for this guy.
no, except for this guy.
It's this dude.
I mean, not to down this, our friend Pat, but Robert. Anyway, there is a lot that goes into a translation.
Yeah.
Well, he spent 25 years, and he's only got a few books now.
That's right.
So it's like, man, that's it.
He's haggling over it. And actually, now I kind of wanted to read his English translation of, like, for example, something that seems pretty dry, like Leviticus, parts
Numbers.
of Leviticus, the end of Exodus, Numbers, just to see, like, where you landed
How
on
long
some,
did he
on
spend
some
in
of those
numbers?
things. Oh, boy.
Begat. No.
Nope. Well, and so like we were doing a few years ago back we were doing a study on Revelation, and it took us back to Matthew, and like Jesus' description in Matthew 25, I think 24, 25, about where the corpses are, they're the vultures or eagles gather, and like it was interesting to look at some of the translations. Most of your modern translations are translating that as vulture. The King James and the New King James actually both render that as eagle, and that's actually an example of a word that everywhere else that it's used, both in the Bible and in antiquity, it translates as eagle. But for theological reasons, most likely that's why we're seeing vulture in most of your modern translations, because of their view of what this means for, say, the end times. And if you take that as an end times passage, you're most likely to render that as a vulture as opposed to an eagle.
There's a lot of times that will come up in translating scripture, their end time view, their kingdom view.
That's right.
Yeah.
Especially those types of things
Yeah.
really starts to point things. And so yeah, I mean, yeah, you gotta be careful. But like one of the things that I grew from it is it made me look. It made me check and say, all right, does this make sense that like nowhere else this is translated as vulture except for in this one place? And even the same translators, now you can translate it in differently in different places of the Bible. Again, context does dictate that. But like even outside of the scripture, no one translated that as as vulture. Like it's always eagle every time, and you're like, ugh. Maybe there's. I believe there's. Frankly, I think there's an influence on their end times view that caused people to say vulture there when it's probably eagle, which changes how we have to think about then that verse relative to say eschatology or other things that point into it. So anyway, I say all that. The reason I landed on the article is, one, I thought it was interesting, but two, I would say don't be afraid to kind of wade into the water and feel overwhelmed. Like it's totally understandable. Like I said, I don't speak any of these, but like there's a lot of really cool tools that are available to you. I use the Blue Letter Bible. It's kind of an ugly app to me, honestly. It looks like it's the design of it's probably 8 years past date. But like the functionality within the Blue Letter Bible app is really cool.
Yeah, the guy that pronounces the words for you, he's the best.
Yeah.
I think they paid a 90-year-old man to sit in a room and then just read.
Strong's G137.
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's like, what? Scorveister. Dude, you're killing me.
Scorveister.
I got totally.
I'm not gonna lie here, gentlemen. I think I just made a nerdy reference again. I'm pretty sure that's from Aragon. To be honest with you, I'm pretty sure I just spoke Elvish.
It is
that's
well
where
worth
I'm at
your
with my life.
time and effort because the Blue Letter Bible app is free
Yes, it is.
to download it and hook up. Just start tapping on words and it'll say translate Hebrew or whatever and let that guy bust it out because he will always go Strong's G. Cohono. Cohono.
I got
when
totally burned
he
on
pronounces
one
it
of those,
twice and it's wonderful.
You got burned on it?
Oh, not on that particular version, but like, what is it? The church TV guide.
Oh, the U version?
You version.
Yeah.
I was preaching through Judges, and there was some little verse in there. I thought, man, I don't know how to say this guy's name. I know it was like right before church. I ran back to the office. I'm gonna hear what that dude says because I knew I was doing the Bible in a year, and I was kind of reading or listening to it. And I go to and it it's talking about the Asherah poles.
Yeah.
And it happened to be in the same verse as whatever the guy I was looking at. And he kept calling it Asherah.
Oh.
I've never heard that in my life. Asherah. Well, this guy's a professional. He knows what he's talking about. So I ran out there and preached a sermon about Asherah. The Asherah poles, blah, blah, blah.
And everyone like attacked you.
No one had a clue what I was talking about. And then I was thinking, man, I am so smart. And like later on, it's like nowhere else does anyone ever called Asherah. It's always Asherah. I mean, it is Asherah. I mean, I don't know if anybody knows it. But now it's like embarrassing. It's on YouTube. You know, it's 4 million hits.
It's in there forever.
Yeah,
it's
listen to
forever.
this hillbilly
I
from
hope in
Iowa
20
called it
years someone
Asherah.
brings up, oh, do you guys remember Asherah,
This
Pastor?
is Asherah guy. I mean, what?
They got a tune out.
I just feel silly.
Asherah.
I might do that actually. I see if I can free up some
Yes.
time. That seems worth it.
Yeah.
We're going to mix you saying Asherah into a dubstep.
Can we get the
and it's gonna be
Bible guy that
phenomenal.
goes Strong's G Asherah? Asherah. Strong's
Yes.
G.
We need to 100% remix that guy.
Actually, the judges would be in Hebrew, and it's a Strong's H.
Strong's H. Oh,
Yeah.
what's the G
Is,
for?
wait, is it Greek?
Strong's G is Greek. Strong's H is Hebrew.
You're the only person in the world who would actually pay attention to that.
Yeah, Strong's. Yeah, it's Strong's is the concordance company or the dictionary company.
They're like
whatever.
the big.
Yeah.
I've never even paid attention that there was any
Strong's
other letters.
H Nefesh.
That means
See,
every
here's the
word,
deal, Ben, you're a
every
nerd
word
too.
in the Old Testament he's gone through, and the New Testament. The same guy. It's the same one.
Oh yeah, that's
And he
why he's
literally
so
just
old.
sits in
You
a
can
room.
listen to it when he was 20. It was like Strong's G, and now it's Strong's
You feel like
G
you feel like you took a
137.
big swing at it on a couple of them because no one else is gonna know. You know,
Sounds like some preacher's going to listen to this right
Yeah.
before going up.
the word toe comes up and he's like Strong's H. Loto. Loto.
Man,
Yeah, that Blue Letter Bible app. That's the.
Frankly, I use it all the time. Like when I'm studying and I'm just doing like a cursory review of the passage. A lot of times there's words where like I think I know. Like we have this idea of what this word means to us, and I'm like, I better check it. And so I check it, and like, you know, it doesn't mean that the translation you have is wrong, but like it gives you some context that there might be some nuance to the word.
Yeah.
it was actually when I took your class, Ben, on Revelation was when I actually started when I downloaded that Blue Letter Bible app. And I find myself, I'll use it 15 times a week. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous. And so I actually have some of my youth group kids doing it now too, where they're just like, well, because they were all like, oh, you know all these words. I'm like, no, there's an app for it.
No, we
They're
look
like,
it up. Yep.
Wait, what? I'm like, no, I didn't memorize Greek and I don't know Hebrew, guys. Come on. Like, I appreciate that, but no, it's an app. And they all freaked out. They're like, wait, there's an app for that? I'm like, yes, there is. Download it now. We'll all have smartphones and 90% of the time you're on. So just grab it.
I feel convicted here because I will purposely not look it up in my Blue Letter Bible because I don't want to know any better. Like Because once I look it up, then I'm bound to be more confused. And so I think,
Oh,
here's
yeah.
what I think it is.
Okay.
Let's move on.
Sometimes you can dig into that stuff, and yeah, it just gets kind of like depressing, or like kind of like, well, this word could be tree or fire,
Right.
Or
those
you
are
know,
very
bird.
different.
Or
I'm like,
face fox.
That's
Whoa.
nothing in common. Yeah,
Face fox. That's way scary.
Right. Yeah, yeah.
What the
like,
heck is that?
even that Jonah example, right? Like, this is my soul, or this is the man's neck.
yeah.
It's like,
Or-
well, shoot.
Up to my appetite.
See,
It's
but
like,
I
what
feel-
are you thirsty,
I
Jonah?
feel like I would relate better with some people in the Old Testament, like especially of course I relate every day to the Book of Job, right? But Job goes on this like 3-chapter spiel
Yeah.
on how he loathes his life. I'm like, you could have just summed it up, and so like is are there parts of the Bible where Jonah could be like, hey, it's up to my neck, now it's over my head? I would have gone, yeah, that makes sense. But then when he goes, hey, it's up to my soul, I'm like, what? I don't know what that means. What do you mean it's
Jonah,
up
what
to
you
your
talking about? It's
soul?
up to your
Is that
soul.
like your kneecap?
Why do you guys
Right.
have to talk like
the
that?
soul
I
of your
don't
foot?
understand.
That's not
you.
very deep at all, Jonah. Just walk out of there.
I mean, can you imagine walking into work and be like, "Hey, Bill, how's it going? This paperwork's up to my soul."
You know what? I'm actually going to say that tomorrow when I go to my office.
You know what,
I'm sitting in
Bill?
my
I ain't
office,
talking to you anymore.
Someone comes up to me, how busy are you right now? Oh, man, up to my soul.
Yeah. People would go, "You know what, Bill? I ain't dealing with you anymore. If you're
Right.
gonna be this way, no one knows what that means."
Troy, you don't seem like the kind of guy I want to talk to right now. Just
Yeah,
walk
that's
out.
right.
Actually, that sounds like a great idea. I'm going to use that now.
What
You
if
gotta
the-
get a tear though.
I'm going to be that creepy guy in the office that always like makes weird analogies and stuff like that, so people leave me.
this could lead us down a dangerous path because it's possible that "it is well with my neck" is actually like the
It is-
man had a hurt
It
neck,
is
and he says, it is well with my neck."
Or he was hungry and it is well with his appetite. Now.
like
He's
he
just
had a
fine.
hurt neck for a while.
I'm
He-
going to sing that song next time I have a good meal. It is well with my appetite.
Yep, he slept, and then all of a sudden he woke up and his neck felt better, and he thought, "I owe this glory to the Lord." He says, "It is well with my neck."
with my neck.
Can we please sing it that way the next time?
Absolutely, we can.
Yes. We'll have the choir sing it.
All right. Anyway, that's the end of that. I just thought it was kind of interesting. Although, the one thing that I suppose in reaction, do you notice that they said that the concern about the influence of Christianity on the translation
that.
of the Hebrew
It's
text?
like oh, dirty Christians ruin this too.
That's phenomenal.
Now, I suppose that it wouldn't surprise me that creeps in though. Like, if you know the end of the story, do you start translating the other parts of the story differently?
Yeah.
Because you see a reference there that may or may not actually
Well, we like to say we see Jesus in every text in the Old Testament.
right.
I don't really. I mean, that's kind of that might
Yeah,
be an
right, and we always say it
exaggeration.
as a positive too, and maybe Yahweh goes, "No, no,
You
don't
wasn't
do
there
that.
yet, guys.
Nope."
Yeah.
That's why I signed them all. Love Yahweh.
Yeah, we don't even. There's not even a Hebrew word for Jesus. We say Yeshua, which is the same name as Joshua. So good luck with that.
You want to know? This is lame, right? But like kids really love, like when I like Jesus's long form name is Yehoshua,
Yeah.
and they just thought that was the coolest.
Wait, what?
Just thought it was the coolest thing they've ever heard, and they're like, Yehoshua.
Hey, man, there's a guy over here that thinks that's the coolest. What?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna get that T-shirt.
Yeah.
Oshua? That was his full name?
They,
Or the long form?
the long form, yeah, of his Hebrew name,
What?
and then it gets translated to Jesus or
That's
whatever.
awesome.
Yeah. So
That's got some more oomph to it.
well, that's the thing. Here's the thing. Some of those things I kind of miss because where the word water or walking or I wave to a guy is different in his language than our language. Like Raul is still named Raul, doesn't matter what country he's in,
Right.
or what language you're using. And so like there's something cool that I'm like, hey man, next time you pray, if you want to, just hear Yehoshua, right? That's his legit name. This
That's
name
sweet, man.
that came out of his mom's mouth and was bestowed to him under God's guidance. Here's Yahweh's guidance. This is the man's name.
Yehoshua.
And I thought, I don't know, that's kind of cool because the name is the name, and it doesn't matter what language it is. The name is always the same. And so, like, it's weird that we translated the name. Like people wouldn't just let it be.
Right, like we would say Yahweh, and like Yahweh is his name. Like that's the name. We don't say it differently. Like, well, it translates as Jonathan.
Yeah,
in
exactly. Right?
English.
They don't look me up and be like Miguel Fust because they looked it up in Spain. My name is still Michael. Doesn't matter what country you're in. And so like it's actual. They just thought that was the coolest thing ever. That they and we went through the whole thing of talking about what the Lord's name is and whatever. And they thought that was awesome. And it's weird because it connects them in a way that like they never saw. The things weren't personal to him, right? When you talk about this God and he refers to himself as the Lord, most kids these days, and most adults, frankly, just marry Lord and God together. Like it's all just one word, and it's just a
Right.
different variation and whatever. And and like for some reason we take, we don't say Yahweh. That's he said this is my name. My name is Yahweh.
Jonah only uses Yahweh, as a matter of fact. Like, of all the places where it's used interchangeably or at least differently throughout the text, like the book of Jonah, for example, is always dealing with the personal name of Yahweh. As a matter of fact, Jonah only has 2 named characters. Yahweh and Jonah are the only people with names. Everybody else is like is a function or an office. And so again, it tells you something else about the story to know that, like, I only know individually or personally 2 characters in the story, and it's not God and Jonah, it's Yahweh and Jonah. And so, like, it just gives a different element to how we're still to understand the narrative because of how that translates, as opposed to the Lord and Jonah, which feels a little bit more passive than that.
Yes. Yeah, it does. It's super interesting stuff, and it's some of that stuff we can extrapolate out and go, look, these are more personal connections, right? Like this is his name. This is how he's being referred to. He says, I am a God, and my name is Yahweh. Okay, that makes more sense than if you say, I am the Lord thy God or whatever. That all just sounds like one thing to most people. Lord thy God is just a thing, where Yahweh's saying, look, I'm acknowledging that there are plenty of gods on offer. I am Yahweh, and I'm the one that took you out of Israel, and I did this, and I did this. And all these things that are now saying, look, I'm telling you my name, and when you associate, like, your freedom from Egypt and the offering of sin to be gone, it is from me that this is coming from. Yahweh is giving you the land of milk and honey, not just the only God that you consider to be around. There's Canaanite gods. There's all kind of gods that are that are here.
Polytheistic at that
And like he's saying, look, I realize that you believe that there's plenty of gods around. I am a God. My name is Yahweh. I am Creator God. I am the. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, it just puts it in a perspective where you can grab what's going on in the Old Testament a little easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never thought of it like that. I dig that. He says Yehoshua.
Yehoshua. Yeah.
Man, that some business to it. I like that. I know. I'm sorry. I'm fanboying over here. I'm like, oh man, Jesus, I've been calling you that so wrong the whole time. I apologize. Yehoshua. That's awesome.
I think 3 years ago I told the kids that there's no J sound in Hebrew, and they referred to the book of Job. I mean, for
That is.
ever since, like they still
phenomenal.
laugh about it. Job. They still think it's funny.
The yoke's on you.
Go get a yob.
All right, so here's what we're going to do. I found one of the lowest scoring quizzes,
Oh, buddy.
and so we're going to give it a shot.
What is Jesus' real name? Yehoshua. Score.
This is famous prayers in the Old
Oh,
Testament.
this is terrible.
Oh no.
Oh, I'm telling you, it's going to be rough.
This is awful.
Here we go. How many we got here? 16 questions. All right.
Oh, man.
Number 1, this man said to God, "Ah, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites to destroy us?" And the Lord said to him, "Stand up. What are you doing down on your face?"
Man. Give us the option.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are our options?
Abraham,
No.
Moses,
No.
Joshua,
Maybe.
Caleb.
It's one of the last two.
I say Joshua.
Was this
Amorites. You said Amorites, right?
yeah, so it's
That
the
could be
movement.
Moses.
It's
I
the
was gonna say,
movement
that
into
was
the
Amorites.
promised land. So either it's Moses or Joshua. So either it's the time where, like, just before they got caught and weren't allowed to go in.
Wasn't Caleb with Joshua though?
Yeah, was he one of the guys,
Yeah,
the spies?
It could be one of those 3.
Oh.
I'll bet you it's Moses. I think they're throwing us off.
No.
Stand up. What are you doing
They
down
were
on
not-
your face?
'Cause who else is going to be talking to God like that?
Yeah, but the Joshua when he took over for Moses. After Moses died, because there was no threat of the Amorites on the way into the promised land.
Isn't that who they got to use their they
That's
get to
when they
use
did
their
the-
land?
Hands up in the air.
So that's
There on
Moses.
The hill. That was pre.
Was that
They're
the
all over the
Amorites?
place.
Oh
Yeah.
crap. Okay, we're going with Moses
I
then.
was going to say, fine. You've I Moses.
All right, Dan's convinced us.
Oh man, it's gonna be all on me.
It's on Dan. Number 2, who said, "Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eliezer of Damascus?"
That's Abram.
The woman. Oh,
That's
Abram,
definitely Abram.
Isaac, Jacob, or Joseph.
I'm totally.
Yeah, Eliezer was his servant. He didn't want to give his stuff over to his servant.
Yeah, he was super upset.
Yep.
He had no child.
3, this man saw an angel of the Lord and thought he was going to die. That night, the Lord told him to throw down his father's altar of Baal and cut down his father's grove. Gad,
Oh.
Gideon, Geshem, or Goliath?
Not the Grove. I love the Grove. Where's this in? For Samuel?
It's got to be Gideon.
I'm terrible
Yeah,
about.
I'm thinking Gideon.
I'm terrible about that part
I'll
of the Old
trust y'all
Testament.
on Gideon because I got nothing.
Oh man, we're in some business.
I just know it's not Goliath.
This
That's where I'm at in that question. It is not Goliath.
this man prayed, "I pray thee only this once, O God, that I may be at once avenged of the Philistines for my two
Samson.
I
eyes."
was gonna say Samson.
Samson.
Yeah.
King James threw me off, though.
Yeah, that's the problem with these quizzes.
He wasn't King James.
They're in the Lord's
Where's
tongue.
Robert at with this one?
He's that New Hebrews translation.
David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done, and now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly.
Wait,
What-
did it say David said at the beginning?
Yeah. What had he just done?
Oh, okay.
Slept with Uriah's wife, had Joab kill his son Absalom, killed Nabal's household, numbered the people.
David? Wait, what? So read the question again.
David said unto the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done. And now I beseech thee, O Lord, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly.
I say that's Uriah's wife.
I'm thinking that.
No, I don't think so, because right after he slept with Uriah's wife, he had Uriah killed, right? Or did he do that after?
Because he sent the.
I think it's the numbering
he
the
sent the scribe
people.
to tell Uriah that he had to go to the front lines.
Yeah, that was after he found out
Nathan
Bathsheba was
came and
pregnant.
confronted him.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I-
Okay.
I'd go counting.
I think it's when he numbered the
Yeah.
people.
That was against Yahweh's wishes. Do not
Yahweh
number the
said-
people.
yeah,
Love Yahweh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
love Yahweh.
Yeah.
Don't number people.
Yahweh.
Uh,
don't count them.
Yeah, that's an Exodus thing. Like you're not allowed to count the army because it's not your army.
Oh,
God counts the army. It's his. When you count something, it implies that you own it.
oh. I thought of it like that.
So when you count and say, "Hey, how many are in my army?" the Lord goes,
Yeah,
"That
Yehoshua.
does not belong to you."
Yeah.
Joshua got this one.
Well, wouldn't you feel coy if like the opposing army's like, how many men you got? I don't know.
God knows. No, that actually
Not
that'd be,
my problem.
That'd be pretty scary. It's like how many are in your army? I don't know. God knows. We're gonna leave. We're gonna head out of here.
As a matter of fact, like think of the times where like in fact this happens multiple times where like, "Hey, how many should we take?" And then God's like, "No, take less than that."
Yeah.
That's
You don't
that's
need
too-
that many.
That's too many.
Yeah, you remember who you got? It's me. No, you don't need that many.
This man prayed
Take
for
5.
wisdom and knowledge, and God replied, "Wisdom and knowledge will be given you, and I will also give you wealth, riches, and honor, such as no king who was before."
I was gonna say, I wonder who this might be.
Secular.
Secular Zimbabwe.
All right, we're in for Solomon 7. This man set his face unto the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. After he had read from the prophet Jeremiah and realized that the Babylonian captivity was nearly finished. Who was he? Daniel, Belshazzar, Nebuchadnezzar, Abednego. So,
Doesn't Leviticus say not to do the sackcloth and ashes?
no?
Isn't that one of the biggest things of like I'm mourning, so I'm gonna like
Yeah, hold on. I'll find it.
Not
throw
for
away
not
my-
for the dead. Are you thinking about for the dead? It's like the same like with the tattoos and stuff.
Yeah, for the dead.
Yeah, but that's not what this is.
What do you mean?
Fasting.
With
he was
um,
fasting about their captivity, wasn't he?
yeah, in reaction to that the Babylonian captivity was nearly finished, and just like in the book of Jonah, like the Assyrians do the same thing. They fast and sackcloth and stuff, and Lord's not like, "I'm really upset that you've done this."
I want to say Daniel, but I feel like that's the trick answer. Nebuchadnezzar was the Babylonian king.
It's not Abednego.
He read
it's
from the
not-
prophet Jeremiah.
Yeah,
That'd be all
That's-
contemporaries, though. I mean,
That's a what? So it was Daniel, then who?
Belshazzar,
Belshazzar.
Nebuchadnezzar, and Abednego.
wasn't Belshazzar Daniel's
Yeah,
name?
name.
His Babylonian
Yes.
or his Hebrew name?
So is that the
I
trick
think
right there?
it's and Abednego was one of the
dudes
The,
in the
one of the
fire.
three that were in the fire. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it's
it's
gotta be
Shadrach,
Nebuchadnezzar.
Meshach, and Abednego.
Like after the time out, that being a wild man, and maybe
It's Nebuchadnezzar. It's got to be Nebuchadnezzar. The first two
Nebuchadnezzar.
choices are both Daniel.
Yeah, he's upset, right? Because Nebuchadnezzar's upset that his control over the Hebrew people is going to end.
Oh.
That's why he's mourning.
Okay.
Which is an odd thing to express yourself in a godly mourning over a captivity of which you are
right.
responsible
You're the
for.
one. Yeah.
well, God had just humbled him, right? It was right after he was
Oh.
had that
Right.
came like
Yep.
an animal, and
Yeah,
That's
you're
right.
right.
All right, we're going to go with Nebuchadnezzar. Oh, boy. This 8. This man prayed, and then the fire of the Lord fell and consumed the burnt sacrifice, the wood, and the stones, and the dust, and licked up the water. Moses, Elisha, Elijah, and Joshua.
I always mix the two up.
It's Elijah that did not Elisha, right?
That's right.
Okay.
Good.
And they go in the order of the first letter that changes
I was
in
going
the
to say
name.
Elijah first, and then he didn't cross the river, and then Elisha took over.
That's right.
So actually, there's no J in Hebrew, so it's Elijah.
Elijah.
Really?
You're a liar.
I didn't see that coming.
It shouldn't have. It really shouldn't have.
took a turn for the worst.
That makes me smile.
Number 9. King Hezekiah prayed before the Lord concerning Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and a prophet sent a message to him to respond to his prayer. Who was the prophet? Obadiah, Isaiah, Jeremiah, Ezekiel.
Yeah, Jeremiah brings that kind of bad news.
And cries about it.
Hezekiah. Yeah. Okay. So Hezekiah. It could have been. Well, yeah, they're all kind of around the same time, I guess. I think Jeremiah.
I don't know.
Say, what did? Oh.
Thanks, Bova. That was
Yeah,
super helpful.
well, no, I was thinking. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to. Okay, fair enough.
What are the Thundercats?
Wow, snarf. Don't judge me on my snarf impression. Fine, I'm in.
10. This man prayed so earnestly that it changed his countenance. The king for whom he was the cupbearer noticed and inquired about why he was so sad. Who was this man? Nimrod, Nabal, Nadab, Nehemiah. Ah, crap.
Nehemiah.
It's not
Nehemiah.
Nimrod. It's yeah. Nehemiah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't Nehemiah the guy that pulled hair? Wasn't he the hair puller?
The hair puller.
No.
He was the cupbearer, and then they sent him off, and he became.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah.
He
yeah.
was sad because he couldn't go to the temple. And
Yeah.
so they sent him out to
Who was
temple.
the hair puller? Like he got tired of people not living the right way, and so he beat them and kicked them out of the temple and pulled their hair.
Does sound familiar. It's not this though.
I think that's a Muslim story.
Maybe that could be him later.
We literally talked about it on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
Everybody was super excited about it. We laughed at it. We said this is going to be our new missionary tactic. We're going to put the Nehemiah on it.
Okay, hold on. Bible, man who pulled hair. Just a second. My cloak. David took
Phrases I never.
four Bibles. Four Bible verses about hair plucking. Just a minute.
Yeah.
When I heard about this matter, I tore my garment, my robe, and I pulled some of the hair from my head and my beard. No, that's Ezra. I hear my back. No. Some
Yep,
begins.
there it is. Nehemiah 12:25.
So I contended with them and cursed them and struck some of them and pulled out their hair.
Yeah.
And made them swear by God, you shall not give your daughters to their sons, nor take their daughters for your sons for yourselves.
But prior to that, he was the cupbearer.
So he was a mild-mannered cupbearer.
That was a
Then
frustrating
eventually
job.
got upset a bit, a little bit, and then pulled some hair.
Stressful.
He went straight on crazy John the Woolly Baptist.
Boy,
Started pulling hair.
That's rough. 11. Who prayed, but now, O Lord, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou art potter, and we are all the work of thy hand. Isaiah, Jeremiah, King David, King Saul.
Yes.
Red
Isaiah.
Tomlin.
You think it's Isaiah?
Yeah.
The prophet
The
Tomlin.
butter, we the clay.
Okay. The Potters thing is making me think Isaiah. I don't know why, but it is.
I think that's Jeremiah, but if we like Isaiah, we'll keep it.
If you think it's Jeremiah, I'm okay with being wrong. I'm just saying that was my first thought. Is that
You've had
for
such
some
practice.
reason? What'd you say?
You practice being wrong.
That's how you become good.
I was gonna say
I'm
I've
okay
had,
with that. Yeah.
I've had about 27 years.
I thought
practice
that
being
was a
wrong.
boast. I'm pretty good at being wrong.
That's right.
Like, I'm okay, but it was like you're trying to be humble. It's a humble brag. I'm okay at being wrong.
Even
Really,
in
you're
your humility,
fantastic.
you're a big jerk,
I'm
Booba.
all right.
Apparently so. I was just saying I'm
People say
fine
I
with
do
being
it.
wrong on this. It just for some reason when I heard Potter, I thought Isaiah.
I look mighty fine when I'm wrong. 12. Who prayed, search me, O God, know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting.
Yeah, definitely.
Isaiah, Jeremiah, David, or Saul? David.
Joshua.
Who prayed, O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing? Isaiah, Jeremiah, David, Saul.
That sounds like David again, doesn't it?
I was gonna Psalm.
Say that again. Oh Lord. Correct.
O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing. Now, Saul with that seems like a Saul like in his dreary days,
Yeah.
dreary time Saul.
Yeah.
We good?
The worst Saul.
Okay, we're going with Saul.
All right. Let the priests, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, Spare thy people, O Lord, and give not thine heritage to reproach, that the heathen should rule over them. Wherefore should they say among the people, Where is their God?
That sounds like Amos.
Amos, Joel, Malachi, or Habakkuk?
No, that's Amos bringing the heavy word.
Yeah. I would say it's either Amos or Malachi, is my guess.
Can't tell you either.
Let's go with Amos.
I just know about the tithing in Malachi. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't,
that's the only verses I read.
I don't know anything else. About
Malachi
I just know
3.
tithing in Malachi.
That's so sad.
Test me in this.
Fill the
We
storehouses.
really suck.
I haven't really paid attention to much more of Malachi other than the heavy of, hey man, this is the deal you got to do.
15, two more. This man was cast into the sea after the people that he was traveling with had prayed that he would not perish for taking his life.
Interesting.
To his neck.
Is that Habakkuk?
Yona.
What's going on?
Yonah. In which book did the prophet pray, O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. Amos, Joel, Malachi, Habakkuk. Crap. Back into the minor prophets.
Man,
We got to clean it up.
they ride to pine, those four fellas. I don't know.
How long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out unto thee of violence, and thou wilt not save.
Joel.
Joel,
Yeah.
Malachi, or Habakkuk.
We like Joel.
Joel was the first thing that popped in my head too, but I
I can't,
Submit, Ben.
Okay, we're going in. Oh, man, I see red on the page already.
oh buddy.
This man said to God, Ah, sovereign Lord, why did you ever bring this people across the Jordan to deliver us into the hands of the Amorites? We said Moses. That is incorrect.
Oh!
The answer is Joshua.
Dang you, Dan.
Dan,
I'm good at this.
we laid it all down on you for Moses.
Deuteronomy, Dan. Deuteronomy.
Deuteronomy.
I mean, technically, this
Deuteronomy,
one's in
Dan.
Joshua. Dan could have stopped at Deuteronomy.
Totally close to where Dan should live.
Who said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? We said that's Abram, and that is correct. 3, this man saw an angel of the Lord and thought he was going to die. Lord told him to throw down his father's altar of Baal and cut down his father's grove, and we said Gideon. That is correct. This man prayed, I pray thee only once, that I may be once avenged of the Philistines for my 2 eyes. We said Samson. That's correct. David said to the Lord, I have sinned greatly in that I have done, and now I beseech thee, take away the iniquity of thy servant, for I have done very foolishly. We said that he had numbered the people. That is correct.
Yeah.
Question 6, this man prayed for wisdom and knowledge, and we said that was Solomon. That is correct.
Wait, are we correct that I'm the only one who missed anything so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, so far.
Let that feel
That
the
will
wave
not
over you.
continue though. I'll
Nope.
say that'll
Nope.
change here pretty
You
soon.
need help to being wrong, Buva can help you.
I was gonna say I'm fairly certain we're about to run into one that I can claim on.
Here we go. This man set his face unto the Lord God to seek by prayer and supplication with fasting and sackcloth and ashes after he had read from the prophet Jeremiah and realized that the Babylonian captivity was nearly finished. We provided much justification for Nebuchadnezzar, and that was incorrect.
Oh.
The correct answer is Daniel. It was Daniel.
I thought Belshazzar. What was the second option? It doesn't
Yeah,
say.
Belshazzar.
Isn't that his second name?
Yeah.
So if you put 2 Daniels on there, how are we supposed to pick one?
They're unfamiliar with that, but that's actually his name.
Ugh.
This man prayed, and then the fire,
Strong's G. Ugh.
fire of the Lord fell and consumed
Ugh.
the burnt sacrifice. We said that is Elijah, and that is correct.
Nailed it.
King Hezekiah prayed before the Lord concerning Sennacherib, king of Assyria, and the prophet sent a message to him to respond to his prayer. Who was that prophet? We said it was Jeremiah. That is incorrect. The correct answer is Isaiah. This man prayed so earnestly that it changed his countenance. He was the cupbearer. We said that was Nehemiah. That is correct.
Mm-hmm.
Who prayed, but now, O Lord, thou art our Father. We are the clay, and thou art our potter. We are all the work of thy hand. We said Isaiah, and that is correct. Question 12. Who prayed, search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. We said that was King David. That is correct. Question 13. Who prayed, O Lord, correct me, but with judgment, not in thine anger, lest thou bring me to nothing. Again, we came up with good justification of why it was King Saul, and that was incorrect.
Dang
The
it.
correct answer is Jeremiah.
Yeah. That sounded like it had Dan running at the forefront.
Which prophet wrote, let the priest, the ministers of the Lord, weep between the porch and the altar, and let them say, spare thy people, O Lord. Mike was pretty sure it was Amos, and I'm pretty sure that was incorrect. The correct answer is Joel.
Shoot.
Circa Joel 2. Question 15. This man was cast into the sea after the people that he was traveling with had prayed they would not perish for taking his life. That answer is Jonah, and that was correct. And 16. In which book did the prophet say, O Lord, how long shall I cry, and thou wilt not hear? Even cry out to thee of violence, and thou wilt not save. We said, certainly this must be Joel, and that is incorrect. The correct answer is Habakkuk.
Wow. Those minor prophets really swept the floor with us.
Yeah, those are bad.
When I do Bible races in youth group, most of the kids don't even know that those exist. It cracks me up. I said Habakkuk once, and they went, "What? Huh? Habakkuk?"
No, thank you. I brought tea. You answered a total of 10 of 16's questions correctly for a score of 63%. This
pass.
quiz has been taken nearly 6,000 times since December 2006, and the average score for the quiz is 69%.
Oh,
We got lower.
Oh, man.
Have we ever gotten lower than?
Once or
One
twice,
other
I'm
time,
sure.
I think we got, yeah.
I feel like we did a quiz on clouds or something and really bombed that one. That was terrible.
Clouds was rough, and then shoot, I remember. What boats? Not boat.
Remember that quiz on boats that we
Actually,
took?
actually, there is a quiz on boats.
Yeah, see, there's one.
Yeah,
What was
there's.
the one?
It's one of the top options. It was boats in the Bible.
Yeah, that sounds about right, Ben.
What kind of guy's like, you know what? There's some things that confuse me in the Lord's word, but I know everything there is to know about the boats.
Yeah, food in the Bible, boats in the Bible, chariots in the Bible.
Jesus gets on the boats. Sometimes Noah's on a boat. Jonah was on a boat. Nailed it.
Peter jumped off a boat or stepped out of a boat.
Oh, what the heck, man! I was looking for the newest quizzes, and the most recent quiz was from 2008.
I was gonna say we've been doing these for so long. Why don't we submit a quiz?
I mean, like I say, I feel like they're not updating.
I mean, this guy's been holding strong for almost more than 20 years.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of impressive.
He's still paying the domain name, BibleTriviaQuiz.com.
I should click on some of his advertisements. Send a little cash his way.
Yeah, why not?
Okay, all right. We got
It's a
time
check for 14 cents.
We got time for. Wait. That was 4. There
Someone
were.
still checks those quizzes?
Hold on, just to come back to this, there were 4 verses about hair plucking in the Bibles.
Yes.
Nehemiah, who pulls out somebody else's hair. Mark 14, which is the accusation and say against Jesus. They spat at him blindfold and beat him with their fists. Isaiah 50, I gave my back to those who strike me, and my cheeks to those who pluck out the beard. And then Ezra, pour out his own beard. Okay.
Who was the guy who got caught in the tree riding? Was that
Absalom.
Absalom. I was thinking of Abimelech
With the
or
long
Absalom.
hair, his long flowing
His
locks
long
got
hair,
caught in
and
the
he
tree.
ended up dying and getting stabbed because he got stuck in the tree, didn't he?
Well, he got stabbed because Joab stabbed him, like his dad's military
but that's
man stabbed him.
after he had gotten stuck in the tree, right?
Yeah, well, but I mean,
Like hanging from
he
it.
didn't see, hey man, I see a guy stuck in a tree,
No,
might as
no,
well
I
stab
understand
him.
he was
going
being
to stab him
assassinated.
anyway.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
being killed and assassinated, yeah.
Okay.
Now, didn't that conversation originally? Wasn't it like one of our signs of the apocalypse, and some dude had ripped a beard out or something? Or I have
Signs
this
of the
faint
apocalypse?
memory.
Non-biblical signs of the apocalypse?
I'm gonna
Yeah,
find
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was from 2014.
What the heck ever,
It was
you know the
January
year it's
12th.
in.
Well,
Yeah.
I do because
I
I was
remember it was 11:59.
It was 2014 because I was listening to Live from the Path podcasts earlier last week, and it was. I've looked at the date and I'm like, holy cow, we've been doing this a long time.
Right.
And then I just happened to listen to the show, and Nehemiah came up, and Ben was super fired up about tearing beards and whatever. He goes, it's fierce, he says. He's all fierce.
Strong's G139.
Oh, man.
Fierce. Fierce.
Okay, ready?
Yep.
Dear Live from the Path, I have been married for 7 years. The last time my husband and I have been out of the house together was last summer. No movies, dinners, festivals, etc. I finally gave up suggesting things to do. My husband says I'm the one who feels the need to go out once a week or take an annual vacation. Hurts knowing he goes out to eat with his buddies on his lunch breaks at work. I've said as much, but we still don't go anywhere on the weekends, and he still goes out to eat with his friends. What do you make of this?
He's a schmuck.
Now, wait a minute. Just to clarify, when you say he goes out to eat with his friends, you mean he has lunch?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, with his buddies on his lunch breaks.
Yeah, that's not. I understand the discrepancy because like this occurs in my house. Actually, my wife stays home with the children and teaches them and stuff, and like my life takes me outside of the house. I end up eating out more than she does,
Yeah.
and like, or even like if I go on a work trip to like Minneapolis or whatever, like they pay for my food. I eat out all the time, and so like it does feel like an imbalance because I'm getting experiences that frankly I'd prefer to have with my wife that we don't. But it is a little bit different than like, hey, my husband, we were supposed to go out to eat together, and instead he went out with Chuck. Like that's not quite what we're talking about.
No, right.
He is still a schmuck because he should be taking
I was
his
going to
wife.
say,
out.
yeah, still, the situation stands. He's
Yes,
a schmuck.
the comparison is unnecessary.
Take your lady out.
But yeah, you take your lady out.
Yeah.
So wait, what was the exact question?
What
you
do you
make
make
us-
of this?
Yeah.
Oh.
we
He's
make
just a
it that your
homebody.
husband's a schmuck and should be taking you
Yeah,
out.
I mean, here's the dude. The guy goes out and he works. He doesn't bring his own lunch, so he eats while he's out of work. And when he comes home, he's ready to be home, and he doesn't want to go out again.
Yeah.
The annual vacation thing, you got to do something about that. You should want to be able to spend some time going
Right,
on
but like
vacation with your
no
woman.
time? A year and a half worth of never going out once?
I mean, here's the thing. There's this weird unwritten thing in people's minds that like, hey, I want to go to this festival. My husband hates country music. I can't go, and he's a jerk for not taking me. You should just go without him, or take a friend of yours or something. Like, it's not realistic to say, hey, here's what I super love. If you don't super love it with me, then you're a jerk. You know, like, maybe he should go take his wife because his wife wants to go and there's no one else available. And he's like, yeah, I'll take you, so you get to go. But, like, you can't be mad at him for not liking country music or not wanting to be out of the house all the time, right? That's just him. You know, it depends. Like, if he's sitting in his underpants watching cartoons, well, now we're talking about a different thing. But if we're talking about, look, I'm out of the house all the time for work. I like being home. I like it here.
Yeah.
You know, this is just me. You just got to be careful there. You know, like he should take his wife out. Yes, he should be going to places she wants to go. Sure, but like it shouldn't be this huge wedge. You know, like if the guy don't want to play 1980s Pac-Man at the convention because he don't dig on it, then leave him at home and go without him. It's fine. It doesn't make your marriage bad. It doesn't make your husband bad. It just means you like 1980s video games and he don't. And that has to be okay. You got to find some leverage there. Nobody else?
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Bova, you want to say no, he's a schmuckerton.
I do. I get that. Like, I actually, to equate this, I kind of deal with this with my fiance quite a bit. She's on a totally different wavelength than me. Likes
She
to
does
go-
not like Dungeons and Dragons.
No,
poetry.
she actually,
Or writing poetry.
Actually, she gets mad that she gets mad that I haven't invited her to that, and that's why I love her because I appreciate that she's nerdy like me. But no, like she very specifically Civic Center, so she likes going to plays, and so I don't remember ever seeing most Disney movies ever. I just never cared for them. I don't ever want to go to Disneyland or Disney World. It doesn't make things fun for me. I'm excited that Star Wars is Disney now. That's it though. But like, we just went and spent like a lot of money on tickets to go see Aladdin, and she made a huge deal out of it. She was like, "I'm going to see it with my sister and my mom, and I want you to be there." In the back of my head, I'm sitting here like, I have no desire to go see this play, but at the same point in time, like I knew it meant something to her, and it meant something to her, and it meant something that I was there to experience it with. And did I like it? No, it was dumb and it was stupid and it was uncomfortable. I'm a big dude. I barely fit in the seat. It was socially awkward because I'm like hanging on.
You
some
did
other
not
dude.
enjoy any bit of it?
No.
You
Not
were
at
a gauche simpleton.
all. Ouch.
Also from 2014.
I was going to say that was a while ago as well. A ghost simpleton was something we used to, okay, fair enough. No, I didn't enjoy it at all. I didn't think it was funny. I didn't think it was entertaining. I thought it was stupid. And I really would, like, I'm glad I went because I loved, like, seeing her reaction to certain things. And, like, she would, like kind of just randomly, like, jolt me on the leg just, like, because she was excited about something. And it was fun to be there for her. Now, did I enjoy it? No. Would I ever enjoy going to a country music festival for her? No. But I love her and she loves things and I want to be involved in things that she loves. And if it's been 2 weeks since he's taken me out and I hate him now, that's ridiculous. But if it's been a year and a half and you can't remember the last time your husband took you out to eat, even if it's like, hey, baby doll, I'm hungry. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. We're not sleeping. Let's go to a Denny's. I don't care what you're doing. Take your wife out and make her know that she's important to you and you're making time. Because even if it's outside of the house, that it's something stupid, it takes you half an hour. If that's what means something to her, you need to meet her halfway on that and own up to it and take your lady out.
I'm not saying that he doesn't have some room to grow here, you know, but they've been married 7 years.
Right.
7 years. I think I'm going to go to a play because I want to support you. It starts to become unnecessary, right? I know you support me. I know you love me. We've been married a while, right? I get it. And so, like, I agree with what you're saying, and I'm not trying to defend him. I'm just trying to put it into a little bit of perspective here. Like, if he shows up at home and he's like, and she has to cook for him, and he refuses to go out, yeah, he's being a jerk, right? If he shows up after working and cooks the meal, and he's not like, hey, I'm gonna sit on my butt while you make me a feast,
Right.
you know, that's different. You know,
Right.
so like, there's a little bit of nuance there, but I'm just saying that like, it gets so difficult because people get this idea of what a perfect man or perfect woman in their marriage, what it should look like, what it's supposed to look like. It's supposed to look like whatever you guys make it look like.
Yeah.
Right? That's whatever makes it so you two can live together and support each other and follow Jesus. That's what it looks like. And if that means that some husbands will go hand in hand doing a 10K with their wife because that's what they want to do. But like other husbands like me will sit in the van with the kids while my wife runs a 5K because I don't run no 5Ks.
Right.
And that's okay too. Like there's just ways to figure this out.
Right.
And I think she might be doing a little bit. Marriages start to get in real trouble when you start looking outside of your own house on how other marriages work without actually knowing people, but you start to idealize the way that their marriage works, and then you start to look at your spouse as if they are not as good as, say, this spouse, or their marriage is not as good as this marriage, and whatever. And there's healthy ways to get advice from other couples. There's also unhealthy ways of doing it, and peering in through the window, on the outside of a relationship, and then shaming your husband because he doesn't run you to Atlanta on the weekends. That's dangerous. It's just a little unfair. Okay, they might also be poor. You know what I'm saying? He's like, we can't afford. Of course, he goes out with his buddies. Apparently, he's hitting the town.
He's going to Long John Silver's.
Yeah,
That's
he's
right.
at the LJ's tearing it up for $9.
You got the 2 fish, 2 chicken platter? Are you kidding me?
Living large.
What's secular say about that one?
I always add a piece. I always add a piece of chicken.
You're a champion.
Yeah, I am a champion. That is right.
Secular says, it appears you are married a man who is selfish and self-centered.
Oh,
Here
man.
we go. He has a social life, his daily lunches with his buddies. Was he always like this? You should enjoy dinners out.
Did he always eat lunch?
Yeah. Was always a lunch eater.
Never skipped it once, huh?
Would you have the same complaint if, like, it was a company cafeteria and the food was just like the company provided it?
Yeah,
and I
it's
met my
cheese-stuffed
buddies
breadsticks.
at the cafeteria and we ate together. No cost involved. Is this the problem, that I'm around other people? That seems super unfair. All right, secular continues. You should enjoy dinners out and movies too, but you may have to do those things with friends instead of your homebody spouse. If you have a job and income of your own, do not sit at home feeling deprived. If you don't have a job, it's time to find one. When you do, it would help you feel better about yourself and less isolated. It didn't say anything about the guy refusing to go put the money out if she wanted to go out.
Right.
I think he just doesn't want to go. That's what I think. And he's got to come out of that a little bit, but he don't want to go. Does that make you is he the worst person in the world? He don't like being out and about.
No.
I mean, we don't know what he does for a living, too. I was picturing him sitting in an office. Maybe he has a really hard manual job. He's just tired.
Yeah.
Either that or maybe
you know?
he's a clown and he always has to be like on all the time. So
Exactly.
he doesn't want to go to the circus.
Yeah, he could be an introverted dude, where he goes to work and it takes everything out of him to have to deal with people, and then he comes
He's an
home.
air traffic
I-
controller.
I
That's right.
bet.
And he
I
gets
bet he's a
recharged
Disney
at home.
character. I bet he's goofy. He has to sit in that suit all day and
It's
deal with
hot,
kids, and it
itchy.
sucks, and he hates everything about it. And he goes home, and she's like, "Let's just go out." And he goes, "I've been dealing with kids all day.
Yeah.
I don't want to do it
I've been
anymore.
eating
I
at
just
the
need to lay on the couch and
Disney
not do anything."
diners.
I can
Princess.
think of that. That's fair. He's goofy.
Yeah, that seems likely. I think we've nailed it.
Ben.
Congratulations, fellas.
They
Way
think
to-
they have that hidden. Their characters.
All right, public
Nuanced.
service announcement. Here we go. Oh, no, it is a question. Dear Life from the Path, what's the best way to gain the attention of a stranger who is blind? What the heck? Hey, blindo. I don't know. Here we go. With a sighted person, I would make sure I caught his or her eye before speaking. I tried a straightforward, "Excuse me, sir, but we were in a public place," and he didn't realize I was talking directly to him. I ended up tapping him on the shoulder,
Yeah.
but in general, I think it's rude to touch strangers, and he jumped a foot. Is there a better solution? Yeah, I mean, you might want to scare the blind man, sneaking up on him.
Here's the deal: is there a I don't know how to say it, an occupational hazard to that, where like you're gonna be jumpy?
I mean, yeah.
Like constant, you lose one of you lose a sense. It's understandable to be jumpy.
Yeah, who's touching me? What are they going to do?
Right? Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
like I have no way of
friend or
assessing
foe?
the threat here.
Yeah.
Until I hear from you. You tap me on the shoulder. There very well may be a person with a gun behind me. I sure hope it's a lady that's trying to get my attention in this public place to tell me I dropped a 20.
I mean, just be a little louder. I mean, or like position yourself.
Face
'cause-
them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure that their senses are of such that like it's not like they can't tell when people are talking to them. It is harder though because you don't have a visual confirmation, which is the same reason it would scare the crap out of you if someone just grabbed your arm.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, they're not being rude. Just give it a couple
Excuse me,
shots
sir, with
first.
the cane?
Well, here's the thing.
Are you Daredevil?
I actually think the arm. Are you Daredevil? Shut up, little man. I think it would actually be less awkward if you skipped the tap. The tap is weird. Like if you grabbed him up by the bicep and said, "Excuse me, sir. Hey, I'm on your left side. Excuse me, sir. You can hear me over here. I'm touching your arm." But like the tap, 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 that is creepy. It's a little scary. Although I was thinking while you guys were talking about you don't know if it could be a guy with a gun. I feel like you'd have balls of steel as a blind man. You have no idea if he's got a gun or not. You're like, whatever, shoot me. I can't even see it coming. So I don't know. I have a gun in your back. I don't know if you do or not. So do
Especially if
you're
you're Daredevil, then you definitely have nerves of steel.
you ready to tear it up. Yeah,
Ben Murdoch.
I think the grab, I think a grab in the bicep area and excuse me, if you couple those two things together, I think that's the way to do it.
I can appreciate that. That's fair.
Yeah.
Secular says, oh, so the question is there a better solution? Secular says, yes, there is. One should never touch or grab a sightless person. Oh man, I'm going to get schooled by a
I was
federation.
going to say, according to
the National Federation of the Blind, what you should have done was to have repeated, "Excuse me, sir," and identified yourself from a short distance away, preferably directly in front of him.
We said that.
we weren't completely wrong.
I mean,
Mike wanted to accost him on the bicep.
I did say, you know,
Sir, can I tickle your armpit?
no, you just.
I'm on your left.
No, like you,
On your left,
would,
like I'm passing you on a bike lane.
like you would say a 10-year-old kid. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Who was naughty?
No.
Like a naughty kid?
Why does it have to be an aggressive gotcha? That's not what I'm saying. It's just a casual walk
It's
up.
firm, and they know.
Excuse me. Yeah, that's all. But like standing in front of him, it sounds like the Blues Brothers movie where, sir, excuse me, sir,
that's
excuse
awesome.
me, sir. I have no idea who you're talking to. How is he supposed to know that? Especially on a crowded street. You could be talking to 50 people.
Right.
What does the National Federation for the Blind even know? Me, I'm an expert in this, obviously, because I'm A, not
The
blind,
National
or B, I have no
Federation
blind
for
friends.
the Sightless. That is not something I knew existed.
Yeah. And the NFBS.
Hey, man, are we doing another one of those?
No, that's it.
All right. Well, can I tell a funny story real quick?
Yes.
Okay. One of the funniest things I've ever seen in my entire life. And I'm a total jerk for this, and it was seriously one of the funniest. I was downtown at work, driving around, waiting to go to a meeting real quick. I had like 5 minutes for a meeting. I was driving around main drag, right? And I saw two sightless people, because apparently that's the right way to put it. Two sightless people walking down the street together, right? One of the gals made the other one angry, apparently, and she knocked her cane out of the other one's hand with her cane, like a sword move.
Oh, man.
And started laughing because she knew that her friend was trying to find her cane now. And every time she found the cane, the other sightless gal would kick it out of the way.
Holy cats.
Then she would have to use her cane to find the cane again and then kick it again. And so I watched this for 30 seconds at a stoplight, and I was uncontrollably laughing at sightless on sightless bullying. That was one of the greatest things I've ever seen in my entire life, and I'm a schmuck because
you're a little bit evil.
They got
You're a
mad
terrible person, Booba.
I'm a terrible person, but they got mad at me because they heard me laughing because I had my truck window down. And I don't know how they could just tell that I was laughing at their situation because both of them turned around to the direction of the laughter, which was me, and started yelling at me and flipping me off.
I mean, what do you expect if you're going to get a blind-on-blind violence out on a sidewalk?
Right,
People will-
like
it's weird to
like
watch.
this gal is hands open trying to find her cane, and the other gal who was also sightless kept kicking it away from her, and so she was basically saying, "Haha, you can't see anymore at all," and eliminating that possibility every time she came close to catching it.
It's one of the things you're allowed to do if you're blind.
Is
If you're not
bully other
blind, you're not
people?
allowed to laugh. But if you're blind, you can.
Dude, I couldn't stop. This all happened at a stoplight, and I was getting honked at because I couldn't leave.
Oh no.
I couldn't pull away when the light turned green. I was like, there's no way I'm missing any more chance of this because this will never happen again, and I can't miss it. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen.
That's 515-517-0085.
Yes, that is understandable. Tell me how much of a schmuck I am and try and beat my my Dungeons and Dragons poetry.
Yeah, these are both good options. Hey, you've been listening to Live from the Path. Thanks for hanging out with us. We really do appreciate it. It'd be good. It's good to be back with you this week. We have full intention of being back with you again next week, but I mean, we'll see how the cards play out. Kind of a shifty operation around here. Until then, be faithful in the means. God will handle the ends. You've been listening to Live from the Path.